Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Hot Shots TV. I'm Scott Briard, and this is Darts. Today we're going to talk a little bit about tournaments. We just had a great past weekend of events right across North America, even into Europe. John Part was over in some great tournaments in Holland. Here in Canada alone, some fantastic tournaments. Trenton was this past weekend. I know Alberta and Saskatchewan both had events over this past weekend. And down to the States, the Peachtree was in Atlanta over this past weekend. So, great events, lots of prize money. So let's talk a bit about today about tournaments, about you, the dart player, that might have come up from the ranks from having a dartboard at home, playing with friends after work at the pub, to joining a league and now potentially getting into tournament play. So let's talk a bit about it. This month, Bullseye News, Dick Allix, manager of Eric Bristow through the 80s and 90s when he was at his prime. Dick Allix writes a nice little column. And let's stop for a second. If you're not subscribing to Bullseye News, you're really missing everything going on in darts in North America. Dick Allix writes about the 7 deadly sins of a dart pro. And if we're going to talk about tournament play, there's some key issues here to get into. Most people, league night, enjoy having a few drinks while they're out, a couple beers or a couple drinks and such. But when we're going to discuss tournament play, and I've been through years of it, so I'm certainly talking from experience, and I was there at a younger age prior to being able to drink, but you see a lot of people who, some events start 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and a lot of people who begin drinking at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, tournaments are different from league play. League play, you go out, you begin at 7:30, 8 o'clock, you're finished 10:30, 11 o'clock, and you're off on your way home. There's only 3 hours that you need to be playing at your real prime. But let's take a look at a day of a dart event. I've got a sample here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this tournament we're looking at here. But let's get to the fact that Saturday at this event, 10:30 in the morning, you're getting started in doubles cricket. Through the day, men's singles cricket at 1:30. 4 o'clock, there's an open singles shoot. You got a full day of dart playing. So if you start drinking 10 o'clock in the morning, potentially, who knows when the bar opens, or when the Ryan Coke and the coffee cup appears from your hotel room. But let's start thinking about it. If you start drinking early in the morning, you're going to be really at peak physical mental shape at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So something to consider. Dick Allix did in this great article, drinking over the course of a day can really take its toll. Now, something else he brought up in here, something I also had a chance to talk to John Part when he was here in September about, is fitness. Now, fitness and darts, they don't usually go together. It's somewhat of an oxymoron, I think you would agree. As we all remember, some of you can research it on the web, Andy Fordham didn't do so well years ago, was out of physical shape in a major event, hot lights on him, the pressure of the crowd. I believe he was taken away in an ambulance, just couldn't handle that night's dart tournament. I believe he was playing Phil Taylor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was playing Phil Taylor in a BDO PDC event and just couldn't handle the pressure. So I really think it's something that if these events are going over the course of a weekend, such as this event that we're going to talk about soon, you might want to consider not having too much to drink early in the morning, because by 4 or 5 o'clock, are you really going to be ready for that singles event to win it? And also fitness, what you eat. Is it a big lunch really going to make you feel great for singles in the afternoon, or getting something that can give you some energy, motivate you, might make all the difference in the world. So something not usually, fitness and darts don't usually go together. I think it's important, extremely important for those that want to do. Let's talk a bit about tournaments. We mentioned over the last couple of weeks, been some great events. John Part's off in Holland and through the European Championships and such. If you have a look through Bullseye News, and if you've been to a lot of tournaments, they usually follow the same structure system. Blind draw on Friday nights, singles, doubles through the weekend, maybe some team events and such. But as I believe I've mentioned on a prior episode, some people really need to start thinking outside the box. If you're holding these tournaments and you're holding these events, and I found somebody that has, and it's right here in Ontario. Jeff Nutt from Sarnia sent this to me to promote on the show. And down the bottom it mentions $7,000 in prize money. It's happening in Sarnia. It's happening in January 22nd to 24th of next year, 2010. The Blue Water Men's Darts Tournament. Here on the bottom of it, it writes, there will be a good band playing after darts on Friday and Saturday night around 10 o'clock. Now that is outside the box thinking. Way to go, Jeff, because too many of these events, you finish up your doubles teams, whatever occurs on a Saturday afternoon, you finish up maybe at 8 or 9 o'clock. Most people end up drinking in a hotel room, or I've seen them out drinking in the hallways, and maybe they still do. I haven't been to an event in a little while. but there's not really anything planned for these players. They've given up their weekend, they've traveled to this event, they've rented hotel rooms, they may have taken the kids, they may not have, but they're there, they're playing in these events. Nobody's ever thought of throwing a dance on a Saturday night. As youth players, back in the late 80s, early 90s, they did run these for us. They Much Music Video road shows. I remember up in Renfrew, Ontario for one provincial championship. Toronto one year we had a great dance. There was stuff going on for the kids to do at night. Jeff, I give you credit thinking outside the box. You're also raising money for cancer. It also mentions there's a chance to win a car if you make it to the top 4 in the open singles cancer shoot, and you shoot a perfect game of 5-on-1. I mean, there's brilliant marketing. May have took some insurance to cover that in case it occurs, but I mean, what better way to motivate people to come out to your tournament? Give them a great time, have a band on a Friday, Saturday night. Jeff, I give you credit. You're thinking outside the box. You got the right idea. And I bet you watch in January, Jeff's going to get a great turnout, and here's why. So way to go, Jeff. I think it's a great idea. Let's touch on something else before we end this episode. I had an email come through last week. Kelly received it, passed it on to me. It's in her computer. I didn't have a chance to print it off, but it went somewhere along the lines of, I was in your store past couple weeks, purchased a set of darts I played years ago in Lebanon. This gentleman mentions he now lives here in Canada. Purchased a set of darts from us, tried them out on our practice board, as everybody does here at Hot Shots. But now I'm out in leagues and tournaments and they're not going well for me. So I've gone back to using my other darts, which I travel with, and I'm kind of confused on what should I use and what flights and shafts do I use and such. I believe the gentleman's name was Mo. I think he's from here in Mississauga now. So let's get into this a little bit. And here's something I believed when I played to the level I did. Never travel with more than one set of darts. Now, I guess I disagree with that in the sense that I did take 2 of the same dart sets in case I ever broke a point. There are some places, many of you have played with me years ago, the Army Navy, if you bounced a dart there and hit the concrete, your point was probably going to break. If you play with retractable darts, take extra collars and points, always have extra spare flights and shafts. But I do not agree with taking a second set of darts that are different than your original set. Because in the back of your mind, as you're playing, you're going to hit a 26, and your brain will automatically think, man, should I switch over to the other set in my jacket? Should I switch over to that other set in my case back there? Your mind will always fall back on those. And you never want to do that. You want to build confidence with the dart set that you're there playing with. So I believe, and all of you in leagues, when you go off to tournaments, take one set. If you take a backup set that's identical weight, identical brand, grip and such, extra collars and points if you're throwing retractable darts, always have spare flights and shafts. But never take a second set of darts with you, unless you're going to lend them to a friend, but never take them with the intention of having something to fall back on, because you always will. And mentally, your brain will always wonder, should I be using the other set? And you'll never play with those darts that you originally took, that you planned on using, at the full capacity of 100%, because your mind's going to stop when you have a bad shot, when you miss a double, when you miss the bull legging. Somehow, some way, you're going to wonder about using them. And Mo, I think that's what's happened. You've got 2 sets potentially with you. You're probably switching back and forth, and you're not giving the new set a full try. Now, anyone buying new darts, and we've always recommended, I'd be interested to calculate how many sets we've sold 10 years this month. If you've watched our little anniversary episode, if you've watched, I guess as I've tried to explain all this, flights and shafts, try everything different. And let's be honest, they are quite inexpensive, unless you're getting into those $36 Phil Taylor shafts, which, well, some people will like them. Phil likes them. But not everybody can shoot like Phil. Remember that. Just because you use Phil's flights and shafts doesn't mean you're going to stack the darts like he does. Definitely worth trying. But try different flights and shafts. Lengths, sizes, aluminum to plastic, different size shafts, flights, just to see what works for you. Because a dart that's landing in on a funny angle or not getting you as consistent around the triple 20 that you really want, by changing the flight and shaft can correct everything altogether without having your brain think that you need to switch darts. And I firmly believe in Mo's case that may be what this is. Come in, Mo, spend some time with us, flight shafts, try some different things, let's see what works for you. But any of you in leagues, do not travel with 2 sets of darts. Just my theory. Anyway, as always, everyone, having a great time doing this. Continue comments, questions, feedback. We're getting thisisdarts.com up and running. We've got a little bit more work to do on that. It's hitting Twitter, it's hitting Facebook. Make sure you follow us on those. I always appreciate comments, criticism. We need it. It's what's going to make this better. Everybody, have a great day. Thanks for watching.